The FAA shut down the airspace around El Paso, Texas. They said it was going to be for 10 days because of a special security situation. Okay? Now, I know some people are saying, oh, I wonder if it had anything to do with Nancy Guthrie. Look, that's stupid talk. Okay? Let me show you what it's about. Go up and show that regional map. All right? The U.S. Army's new laser technology was deployed against what it thought was a drone coming from Juarez, Mexico. That's why the airspace was shut down. Okay? This is about the cartels. This is about them having drone capabilities. It's not about a balloon. It's about drone capabilities that they have been working with the Chinese for a long time that we don't have a match for. Now, here's my problem before I stain our two guests with my perspective. When this comes out that the U.S. had to shut down because it couldn't deal with what the cartels are doing, and the administration has to process that, it'll be processed as shame. The media will throw it in their face that way. The left will throw it in their face that way. You're afraid of the cartels. I am worried about how the administration decides to answer that message. Because the last thing I believe America needs right now, even though we don't want drugs coming into the country, and the cartels are obviously in control of Mexico, I don't know that what we need is another foreign incursion. With that said, let's discuss the viability of my theory of why this happened and what it means about what our national security situation is, okay? Former Border Patrol Chief in Yuma, Arizona, Chris Clem, and NewsNation contributor Tracy Walder, who piloted drones for the CIA and basically did every other difficult job you can think of in your life. So it's good to have you both. One, Clem, what do you make of my assessment of what this was about?
Well, you know what? I agree with you. This, drone activity by the cartels is a legitimate threat. It is, in fact, a very priority threat for Border Patrol to identify. And I can tell you that to you and the audience that there are tens of thousands of incursions every year along our southwest border. In my former sector in Yuma, 1,500 approximately last year. But down in the Valley of Texas and West Texas, you're talking 80, 90,000 annually coming across. So the threat is real. The how they use it for counter surveillance, carrying drugs over the border, or God knows what they could use it for. The threat is real, and so that shutdown, again, I think the initial 10-day shutdown may have been a little bit of an overreach, but the FAA has responsibility of safety. You've got three departments working together: Department of War, DHS, and FAA, all Transportation Department, all working together. Well, we've got a little PR issue we got to get fixed, but I think the American people need to know that there's confidence there, that testing and evaluation and response and reaction to these threats is ongoing with Department of War, DHS, and the boots on the ground.
Tracy, people see drones, they're not that scary. What do they need to understand about the emerging threat of using high numbers of drones and how the Chinese have really been working on this for a long time, and what the cartels could be capable of that would spook the U.S. government this way, because it was not about a red balloon?
Well, first of all, thank you for bringing up that outside nation influence. I think it is so important to this discussion. We have China obviously impacting that. We also have Iran. Iran is a factor in South America as well. They have quite a robust drone program. Now, they're not giving them drones like Reapers or Predators. These are much smaller drones. And the problem with that is, obviously, as we saw this laser being tested, we are having issues identifying them. If we mistook one for a balloon, which is essentially what happened, that is problematic and shows a hole in our system now. And I think that is part of the problem. Is I don't know that we have full technological capabilities. I know we're testing it to be able to go after these drones. And Mexico, unfortunately, is not much help, because even though the cartels have had drones for 15, 16 years at a minimum, the state of Chiapas actually didn't get anti-drone technology as well as drones until 2024.
So this is what I'm being told, and you guys can vet it for me, Chris, that the cartels are making it clear, we'll send dozens of drones over there. Let's see how that works when you try to defend your airplanes. If you want to keep messing with our routes, you want to keep pushing on us, we'll send 4 or 5 dozen of them over there. Let's see if you can stop it. And I'm told we don't have an answer for that yet.
Well, I'm not going to get into too much tradecraft because I think we're working on the answer continuously. But what I will say this is our border is secure through the form of the infrastructure, the wall being built. So they work on trying to tunnel under it. We've got that detection. We're very successful at that. They have a hard time going through it and up and over it because we've got agents that can respond to it. So the only other option is to disrupt operations by trying a new tactic, which is, again, not a new tactic, but something that is increasing and continuing, like multiple drones to really deflect and draw our resources, pull us out, and, again, attack us from a different perspective that we haven't been accustomed to over the decades, and actually 100 years at the border. This is new emerging technology. Threats been around, but again, the tactics are changing because we have changed the way we're doing our border operations as well.
Tracy, what do you do about this? Forget about the messaging and how the administration is going to react to people weaponizing this situation. But the military and the FAA, they're not used to working hand in hand in terms of a security profile. Is that something that has to change?
In my opinion, the communication obviously definitely needs to change. I mean, as someone who was essentially blamed for September 11th and being in the counterterrorism center and the lack of communication that we had between agencies to spot, detect, and neutralize emerging threats is problematic. And so when you have the Department of Defense testing out this, I guess, directed energy weapon, right? The laser, and the FAA saying, hey, don't do that so close, and they do it anyways, that becomes a problem. And from a national security perspective, people can start to see our weaknesses. And these drones, it wouldn't surprise me if Mexico tries to sell some of the surveillance that they get from it to places like China and to places like Iran. They'll sell anything else. So it's a national security problem.
And there's a real question as to whether or not we have a partner down there. There's an obvious antagonism coming from the new leadership there and the leadership here. But I'll tell you what it reminds me of. When I was in Ukraine, and look, we're not Ukraine, okay? Universe is more sophisticated. But when they were telling me about how they're able to detect this and detect that, and then all of a sudden these drones came flying in. And as the guy who was telling me about their ability to detect things, there were these drones right over us all of a sudden, and we got out of there, and they were just, kamikazing the drones into tanks and stuff like that. And it was just showing how fast things have changed and how we're in a game of catch-up. Clem, thank you very much. Tracy, as always, appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.